All right, welcome to this episode of Camping with the Pups. I'm Brian,
I'm Daniela.
and as you see front and center here, we got 4G with us today. Jackson and Maggie are having their breakfast this morning. We do have a special guest scheduled that'll be a little bit later in the show. And in the meantime, we want to talk a little bit. We're in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee now. So, Pigeon Forge is one of the main areas that has access to the Smoky Mountains National Park, and there's a lot of tourist area here in Pigeon Forge. Some other areas that are close by, Gatlinburg, which we went into over the weekend. We'll be going into later this week and get you some footage from there. A lot of great stuff to do there. But we want to talk a little bit about what we've had this week. Danielle has a little bit more to talk about here in Pigeon Forge. I went up to Maine on a business trip. That's part of working on the road. We did look at seeing if we could get the RV up there, but considering we had the grandbabies in Wichita, Kansas, the time between that and my business trip was a little too long. There's a little bit we talked about that in last week's episode, some of the drama we ran into on the way to Pigeon Forge. But we were here for about a weekend, and then I had to go up to Portland, Maine for a business trip, so I flew up there. Just came back on Friday, so we're going to talk a little bit about stuff in the area here. Before that, I want to touch on the tips of what's great to do in RV and hotel travel firsthand. When I went up to Maine, I had several delays in Philadelphia where I connected, and instead of getting in at 30 in the evening, I got in about 3 a.m. in Portland. And that was partial because of the IT issues that y'all may have heard about a week and a half ago across the world. Microsoft machines. It wasn't Microsoft, it was a security or driver update system that totally crashed a lot of computer systems. I think that was called CrowdStrike. So a lot of flights across the country, or actually across the world, were delayed. And then when I got up there, the hotel we were at, their system had crashed, so they weren't able to make digital keys anymore. So you literally had, for most of the week, someone had to come up and use the master key to get you into your room. So imagine that you have a hotel full and an individual has to go with each guest every time they want to get in their room. Big impact. Come until Wednesday to fix it to where they could keys again. So bit of inconvenience, of issue. That's the one nice thing about RV. If IT issues like that happen, no problem. You can still get into your RV. You can still park in your RV spot because you made reservations. So yet again, another advantage of RV travel over flight and hotel. You had no problems getting in and out of the RV phone, right?
No, not at all. The
So
keypad was working, no problem.
excellent. Again, you get to travel with all your stuff. It's like sleeping in your own bed, having your own kitchen, having the pups with you, and you don't have other people's technology necessarily on there. So while I was gone up in Maine, you had some activities down in Pigeon Forge to keep yourself occupied.
Well, in between all the rainstorms, I managed to make my way to Forbidden Caverns, which was really nice. It's about a 45 to an hour and 15-minute tour caverns, and it's really, really nice. They have a little underground river that goes underneath, and it was so clear you could see all the way down to the bottom. You could see the rocks and everything. And the tour was pretty quite interesting. They said that the local tribes way back when used to hide in the caverns during the wintertime to stay warm, because apparently, oddly enough, there is a spot in the caverns that is the warmest during the wintertime. So I thought that was kind of interesting, because you're always told that it's a certain temperature all year round, but apparently once you get to that particular spot, it's the warmest. Also, because we're in the Smoky Mountains, it's also used for moonshine running. So there was some archaeological moonshine equipment still left over from those days. So, and they said that that was one of the reasons why the ramp is so smooth and everything, so that they could actually use wheels to cart their moonshine up and down the cave. That was kind of cool.
Interesting. And last time, as you heard from last week's episode, we went to Dollywood, the water park portion. You've been to the regular Dollywood previously
Oh
on
yes,
there.
Dollywood's really nice. We were here last year during the fall, and it was kind of nice because they had already had it pre-decorated Halloween, so you get to see all the Halloween decorations up and everything.
Hmm.
Saw a show about Dolly Parton and how she came from humble beginnings, and you know made her way to fame and how this is her hometown and everything. So that was kind of cool. Unfortunately, it rained during that day too, so a lot of the attractions were on and off based on the lightning strikes. But it was still fun.
Yeah, for the summer, and they change it up around the year. For the summer, they have a fireworks and drone show. Unfortunately, our pups don't really care for the fireworks. They started out at 9 when we're taking them out to
About
walk. So
9:30
9,
ish
9:30 ish.
ish.
Aren't bang. That's one of the things about being this close is you get a good sight of it, but pups don't care for it. So lots of stuff. We talked last year right next to, you can almost see really over the tree line, you can see the Titanic Museum right here, and a number of different dinner theaters. We've done Hard Rock Cafe. Hard Rock Cafe gets, especially on weekend, gets is very popular. It gets booked early. We were going to go there last night for dinner, and it was almost 2 hour wait. So we put reservations in for tonight. So we'll be there tonight.
We did go to Gatlinburg and go to Jason Aldean's restaurant.
That was really nice on there. So
We got lucky with that. We only had a 5-10 minute wait.
yeah, there's two of us. There were people
So
that had larger parties that had to wait a little longer. Also along here, lots of different activities. Talked about last week. We did the lumberjack feud theater thing. There's also a lot of shops and stuff around there. You have the what they call the island, which is they got the Ferris wheel, a lot of shop, a lot of entertainment down in there. That's where your Build-A-Bear is down at. So she'll be down there a little later. That's where Forgy here got his clothes from. Is the Build-A-Bear down there? So
oh yeah.
and big thing, a little bit here in Pigeon Forge, but definitely up in Gatlinburg, they have not just the wine tasting, but they have moonshine tasting, which is a different experience. We are in the Smokies. This is area is famous for there was a lot of moonshine and running. There is still is moonshine. It's just it's not illegally done. There's actual distilleries that are doing moonshine now. Um,
King's Distillery is actually another one that
mhm,
was actually pretty good. I got to try that when I was running around trying to find alcohol.
mhm,
So brought back a couple of bottles for us. Some even they even have some flavored
mhm.
moonshine, which is pretty cool.
Of course, one that we've done is very well known here is Old Smoky Moonshine. They do a lot of different. They've gotten awards and stuff like that. You have also, like I said, along in Gatlinburg, especially, there's several little winery tasting areas too, and they actually have almost they have something on the flyer. It's almost like a punch card where if you get like 5 or so different wineries down in Gatlinburg and get your stamps, you get like free wine glass or something like that type
Yeah. Of
thing. So,
course, found my candy apples up in
hmm
Gatlinburg, so that was kind of cool. Need to
yeah.
get some more.
And we're right around the corner here from the Apple House, which is a large restaurant, cidery, because they do all apples, of course, and
Yeah.
the Apple House. They do a lot of events and stuff there. We're right on the river. You can see the woods right behind us here. Right through that woods is a small,
Little Pigeon Forge River.
yeah, little Pigeon Forge River. I was going to say creek, but it's probably a little bigger than a creek. It's just enough to make a river. There's other rivers around here. We've seen people park their boat and stuff like that. But if it's very touristy in Pigeon Forge, you've got up the road. There are several places that do like go kart. There's one that's NASCAR go kart. It's got like 5 different tracks. They're still doing go kart, but like 5 different tracks there. You got outlets up here. You got different dinner theater type things. You got Comedy Barn, Hatfield McCoy, you Dolly Stampede, Pirates Show. There's laser tag around, all types of stuff to keep active, as well as the fact that there's a lot of RV parks. We're actually at one that we've been to a few different times, which is Pigeon Forge Landing. This is, if I recall, this is the only RV site or camp that we've actually extended our stays once we were there.
Yes,
Um,
we've done that 3 times.
Yep. We've stayed here 3 times and we've extended 3 times. This time we extended the other way. We arranged to come in a day early, but it's very nice. It's got a regular pool, but the sites itself is really nice. Lots of good amenities. They let you set up how you need to. So as you see, we got the fencing and everything here. This is the one that also we did a little short here on their internet access on campsite. They've got antennas all over with that, and it's a great place to stay. We've enjoyed it.
Oh my goodness. Ironically, being how close it is to everything, it's very peaceful. The only noise you hear is maybe a siren going by every once in a while, or the Titanic horn going off every once in a while. But other than that, it's really quiet. You're far enough back away from the traffic noise, considering how close you are. It's only a 5 minute drive from here
Hmm
to the main strip.
Yeah.
So, and then of course there's a restaurant right off site called Iron Forge Brewery. So they make their own beer.
That's one of those microbreweries. So they have some food, a few items on there, and then they have, of course, it's a microbrewery, so they have several things on tap.
They have a very giant pretzel.
Yeah,
A very big
Bavarian
giant
pretzels. Nice.
very huge giant pretzel.
I know she did previous time she was up here, but I want to do the what they call mountain roller coaster. So you're a little thing going down the track, down the mountain type stuff. They also have. We're going to do later, maybe Monday, the
Indoor lazy river. It's about an hour and a half from here. I think it's an hour and a half west. It's called Sweetwater, but they have an indoor river in a cavern. So that's kind of something kind of cool. I'm not sure if if we'll have time for that, but that might be something maybe further down the line.
Okay, sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty with connection. I was just talking about internet. I'm not on theirs. I'm on our own at the moment. So, but we're talking about the attractions in the way. We're saying Lazy River, this indoor that has the neon lights and stuff like that. We're going to be doing shortly. Along with that, we did Hatfield and McCoy's. Fortunately, we had a guest for that. So unfortunately, it seems like our guest may have been running a little bit later than anticipated, but he was one of the members when we went and saw Hatfield McCoy's dinner feud last night. Really wonderful. I would highly recommend it. To kind of put us in the right mood here, let's show you a very brief clip. We have a short that will be coming out on this, but this will give you kind of a little preview on it here.
Here in Pigeon Forge. If you're looking for a great night, we're at the Hatfield McCoy Dinner Feud.
It's a lot of fun. You need to come and check it out. This is Forgy's home. We're going to bring him back.
Hello, people on the video. This is Sammy. Come see me. I will make you laugh.
So we have a larger section of that short that will give you a little bit more view there, but that was one of the actors there. Was gracious enough to talk to us a little bit afterwards. Unfortunately, he must have gotten caught up with traffic or something. We weren't able to get him on today, but that's who our guest was scheduled to be. With the technical difficulties, we'll try to give a little better shot on a shout out of things to do here. On next week, we will be back in Virginia. We'll be wrapping up this 2-month experiment, and we'll talk about some of the other aspects of not just Pigeon Forge, but along the hallway that you go. And with that, we'll kind of wrap up how this 2-month experiment went next week. So
it's definitely been an experiment, dealing with the highs and the lows and unexpected turns.
Next week, we'll be back in the studio. We'll be able to give you kind of a recap, hopefully get through some of these technical difficulties being on a landline as opposed to your normal internet like this. But with that, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up a little early today. If you get a chance to go to Pigeon Forge, I know it's very popular. There's a lot of parks here. We went to, again, Pigeon Forge Landing. Very centralized. The main strip's called the Parkway, and it's right in the middle of the Parkway there.
Oh, yeah. There's at least 2, maybe 3 on your way here, and then there's a couple of more right before you start heading into Gatlinburg.
Yeah, right before you hit the actual Smoky Mountains there.
So there's several different parks, just depending on what your preference is. One of the things that draws us here to Pigeon Forge Landing, I think, is the amount of space that we have between each site, and we know for a fact there is no doubt that we can set up our pup fence so that we can let the pups out and let them run around during the day out here without any issues. So that is one of the things that appeals to us. Plus, we know that this place is clean. We know that it's very well maintained, and there's no guessing about whether we can set the fence up for the pups. That's our one thing, is we know that the pups are happy when they can come running out and we don't have to restrict them as much.
Thank you for joining us this week and being patient through some of the technical issues for Maggie and Jackson.
I'm Daniela.
And I'm Brian, and happy camping from the Pups.